So you just finished watching Darling in the Franxx, and I know what you're thinking. You know what, this was actually pretty good. The animation was pretty fluid, the story is interesting, the characters are likable, there's mechs, white power, and fan service. It's like the perfect anime for the Aryan race to
masturbate to anime.
But I'm not gonna be talking about that, because that's racist. The fuck is wrong with you? Instead of regurgitating what the 99% are going to say, I'll be doing something different. I'm going to think outside the sphere. This anime is not about a dystopian future where children have to pilot mechs to defeat giant alien monsters and we delve into their psyche and we get some themes about PTSD or what it means to fall in love. Oh wait, wrong anime. Or is it? No. Episode 1 of this anime is about how to get a girlfriend. Now you might be thinking, a girlfriend? You can put those two words together? Now it is surprising that this concept exists, but it is possible, although highly unlikely, to like anime and get a girlfriend. And not a friend girl, but an actual girlfriend. And I'm going to be using this anime as an example. Now it's clear that Trigger has an appreciation and love for the female body. Now that's step 1. You must find someone that's comfortable with their sex appeal. Because obviously if they are trying to look sexy, then they are clearly asking for it. Step 2. You need to be somewhat attractive. Look at Monaco over here. I mean Hiro. No, not that one. Hiro might not be the most attractive, and he might be a manlet, but he's not ugly. And if you're not ugly, you've pretty much made it over the hill. You just need that final push. Unfortunately, the more anime you consume tends to correlate to how ugly you actually are. But don't you worry about that, because I'm in the same boat. In fact, I'm way uglier than you. I bet you don't know who this is. You probably don't, you fucking beautiful bastard. Step 3. Set up the perfect first impression. Now don't do what this old man is doing. You are too young for that. And in 20 years, you'll be accused of sexual assault and your life will end. Would it be worth it then, you pervert? No. What you need to do is watch from a distance. Make sure the two of you are alone, and she is preferably naked. Then, you take her panties. But don't show an expression. If you show any signs of pervertedness, then that's what you are. You must be stern and clench those panties. This is for her to know that you're serious and you are indeed interested. Step 4. It doesn't matter how, but you must approach her like you're trying to save her. But make sure you don't drop her panties. Otherwise, she'll know that you're unreliable and unfaithful. Step 5. You will now initiate contact. But you want her to approach you since you have no confidence because you're a weeb. Now that she's naked and in front of you, stare directly into her eyes. After all, you only have eyes on her. But don't stare too much. You need to have a vulnerable side as well. Eventually, she'll notice that you got her panties wet. She's going to think you're a pervert. This is where you own up to it and be confident as you hand her panties back. Step 6. If you do this correctly and you manage to charm her, she'll laugh and tell you how much she appreciates you. She might even initiate that physical contact. See? Now she's got the image of a great guy in her mind. Step 7. Now this is a very important step. Wait for her to fall into a life or death situation. You show up as the brave man or woman and console her as she bleeds out. You give her some encouragement and then you ask her out. Her wounds are pretty severe and there's no one else around. What's she gonna do? Say no? Step 8. The last step. Hopefully she's not dead. If she is, then you failed. But if she's alive, then she'll accept your confession, give you a cute nickname, and pull you in for that nice kiss. Congratulations! You got yourself a girlfriend. But then you realize that you're not in an anime and this will never work in real life because you can't just steal a girl's panties. Because girls don't exist, they're all traps, you moron.
What was that?
So you have a girlfriend and I know what you're thinking. Wait, you want to keep her? I thought the goal was to get a girlfriend, not sustain a relationship. Okay, this is unheard of. What is this progressive bullshit? None of my Japanese animes have prepared me for this. Oh, but I mean, of course I can help you keep your relationship. I mean, well, it's the first thing you gotta do to your girlfriend. I guess you better put it in. Okay, don't do what Hiro is doing. That is not how it works. You think you just go around asking for sex? If that was true, I wouldn't be a professional virgin, thank you very much. No. First, you need to break up with your side piece. In this case, it's Ichigo. Alright, look, Bleach, I get it. We had a good run. You were great in the beginning, but you really let yourself go as time went on. Like, I don't even know what you are anymore. Oh, wait, no. I'm talking about Franxx! Alright, look, obviously your friend group isn't gonna be very happy with you dating a foreign girl. It's okay to realize that your friends might be racist. Well, your side piece isn't gonna take the girlfriend thing sitting down. She's gonna try to win you back with some good sex. But you'll want to save your virginity for the woman that you love, which is your current girlfriend. So you try to reason with her current boyfriend, but he's a cuck, so he's okay with it. Now you're trying to get your current girlfriend to help, but she's very liberal in her sexuality, so she's okay with sharing. Besides, she's very confident that you only have eyes on her, and she really wants that three-way. Well, now you're in a dilemma. As a good Christian boy, adultery is a sin, no matter how attractive Ichigo and a thought of a three-way might be. But she insists, so you do the last thing to keep your virginity. You get erectile dysfunction.
どうしたの?
わからない。急に。
私のせい?
違うと思う。
Alright, now you don't have to feel bad for not having sex with Ichigo. And she doesn't have to feel awful that she can't satisfy a man because it's a genetic issue. Oh, but now you have erectile dysfunction. Ah, sh**.
Look at me, man. I'm not funny. I steal jokes. My dick don't work, man.
You feel like number one, shining bright for everyone, living out your fantasy.
Now you have erectile dysfunction. So you just had awkward sex, and I know what you're thinking. Well, the good news is, you don't have erectile dysfunction. The bad news is, everybody now knows that you're a disappointment. You're going to have to live with the consequences of participating in terrible sex. Hopefully she doesn't go to a journalist. It's important that we talk about our feelings. So let's open up to our good friend who happens to be the cuck that's dating the girl you just fucked. I mean, it still counts even if you just put it in.
兄弟みたいなもんだろ。
Alright, I know what you're thinking, but it's incest in name only. I mean, come on, who hasn't fantasized about sleeping with their siblings? I mean, I wouldn't know, I'm an only child. Alright, moving on. Look, you know, you're not alone. We've all had our moments where we were not at peak performance. It's okay to be ashamed. Recognizing our flaws allows us to improve on them. But at least you have a girlfriend, so let's go see her.
ダーリンのエッチ。
え？
あんまりジロジロ見ないでよ。
だから、なんでエッチに？
Gee, I wonder why. So your girlfriend takes you out on a date and she's got it all planned out. Yeah, I know, right? You really lucked out on her. Don't you fucking blow it. So she takes you dancing, and then you do the impossible with her. You go outside. What a joyous occasion! You're finally a man!
逃げちゃおうか。僕と一緒に。僕ならダーリンを連れ出してあげられる。
Oh geez, I don't know, babe. I think we should take it slow. Oh god, no! Of course I'll marry you!
なんつって。
Ah, this bitch, I swear to god. So I know what you're thinking. Where did all these mechs come from? Now allow me to explain. As a Neet with an online PhD in clinical sexlexia, when you are having sexual intercourse and you become one with your partner, the two of you enter a fever dream together, where you have to work together to fight off the dreaded STDs. It's like Pacific Rim, except instead of trying to save mankind, you're trying to keep your manhood clean. Sometimes when you're having an orgy, you enter a Matrix-like environment where the couples can interact and fight off the venereal diseases together. But sometimes it doesn't go as planned. Some partners can climax too early and be left vulnerable. Well, now your friends are in a pickle. It's time to whip it out and get in there. But sometimes life gets in the way. Turns out that you still have to do that last minute paperwork that your dickhead boss threw at you. But your girlfriend needs to be satisfied. I mean, you need to save your friends. Now this asshole shows up and does the equivalent of slapping your girlfriend's ass at the bar. He's planning on taking her away and leaving his mark in her. This is where you step up and...
みつると言ってくれ。
No. Okay, never mind. I guess we'll go the cuck route. I mean, you're clearly busy and she has her needs. I don't know what to do now. Hopefully he's bad at sex? Okay, turns out he's pretty good. I mean, I guess you don't have a girlfriend anymore?
そうなんだ。じゃあ、ちょっと本気出してみようかな。
Well, it turns out your girlfriend might be a little crazy in bed. She might be a dom.
僕のダーリンは君だけだ。
That's pretty hot.
How would you feel if I made out with your butt while you masturbate?
So your friend just stuck his dick in crazy, and I know what you're thinking. Well, I mean, what's the worst that can happen?
ご飯も手をつけてないよ。
Yes, a decreased sex drive is one of the many symptoms of crazy sex. But the boy here is bedridden, and he's clearly in a lot of pain. His post-sex illness is much more severe than the average sexual encounter. He must be suffering from a post-orgasmic illness. Be careful, young ones. Your penis only has enough power to wade through the mental anguish of dealing with crazy bitches. It's finally the weekend. You got your job done. Your schedule is free. Now is the time to spend it with your girlfriend. But this is where the doubt comes in. Your friend failed to satisfy your girlfriend, and he had much more experience and a better technique, you start to feel more insecure, which is understandable. After all, you didn't exactly excel in your previous sexual encounter. Meanwhile, your girlfriend is having parental problems. It seems that her dad does not approve of her sleeping around. Rumors are starting to spread. Your friends are calling her a slut, and she might be infected with the STDs. Now you're even more afraid. Nobody wants to get AIDS. Oh crap.
ちょっとなんで
ねえダーリン、一緒にここを出よう。
You're in a weird situation now. Your penis is saying yes, but your brain says no. Why, brain? We can just use a condom.
パパたちが決めたことよ。
Papa? Alright, look, obviously your friend group isn't gonna be very happy with you dating a foreign girl. It's okay to realize that your friends might be racist. The characters are likable, there's mechs, white power, and fan service. It's like the perfect anime for the Aryan race to
Masturbate to anime.
Of course, now I remember who you are. You're an Aryan boy, and the one thing that the Aryan race fears is racial mixing. You were racist the whole time.
化け物だと思ってる。
Looks like we're dealing with a ringworm, and it's the razor type by the looks of it. That's not good. If you get manscaped by it, your chances of contracting an STD increases. All of your friends are out there having unprotected sex, and their pubes are getting shaved. We have to save them. But it looks like your girlfriend is moving away. Her dad doesn't want her to live in such a racist society, and long-distance relationships never work. I guess this is goodbye. Your penis is flaccid. Your Aryan brain accepts that a foreigner is no ideal partner. But your heart aches. Why does it hurt? Because you love her, and you realize that. Before it's too late, you run after her, disregarding your traditional values, and all your insecurity leaves your body, and it's replaced with nothing but confidence.
俺は君と乗りたかったんだ。だから行かないでくれ。ゼロゼ。
And it might be the dumbest fucking shit you've ever said, but it's a confession of love towards her. Does she accept it? She does.
僕に乗りたいんだ。
乗るよ。
And after waiting and fighting your inner demons, you finally have sex. And it felt so good. So you're finally in love, and I know what you're thinking. You know what, man? I'm actually proud of you. Taking the big step and getting into a relationship that isn't considered normal. Obviously, it's gonna foster some hatred and ignorance from a small group of your friends. But this is the time to celebrate. Be proud of who you are. Seems like the majority thinks so. Unfortunately, you might have to overcome your strongest opponent yet. God himself. But that's in the future. Right now you live in the present, and your girlfriend finally decided to move in with you. And she's not really assimilating well with the current culture. In fact, she's a little disrespectful about your traditions. And the constant PDA you two participate in might be a little uncomfortable for some. But who cares what others think? After all, you're in love. Meanwhile, after the crazy sex he had with your girlfriend, our boy Chatsuru is now addicted to opioids, which is actually a serious epidemic. Tens of thousands of people have overdosed from this prescription drug. Please spread awareness. After all, it can lead to a heroin addiction. And at the end of the day, Chatsuru is still our friend. Meanwhile, Ichigo is still not over you dating another woman. Her passive-aggressive game is quite strong, and her feelings for you have intensified now that she can't have you. Cuckboy is really concerned and decides to confront you about your girlfriend. Wait, what the hell? Hey, are you alright? Wait, don't tell me you wrong-dogged that shit! Looks like the rumors were true. Your girlfriend really did have an STD. As Cuckboy goes to get help, you stop him, telling him to keep it a secret. After all, the love that you have for your girlfriend supersedes your suffering.
もうストレリチアにはな。ゴロには関係ない。次乗ったらヤバいって分かってんだろ。ゴロ、俺今すごく 生きがいを感じてるんだ。
And Cuckboy understands, because he's your bro, but he doesn't like it. Meanwhile, Ichigo finally confronts your girlfriend about her feelings for you. She's trying to accept that she lost her Aryan love to someone inferior, and things get a little heated.
人でなし。あんたはやっぱり人間じゃない。人間だって。じゃあさ、聞くけど、君たちの言う人間って何さ。
You done fucked up now!
Sometimes it's hard to move on. Sometimes you regret past actions. And sometimes it's okay to cry. After all, you're going to have to confront your feelings and accept the reality. It makes it a lot easier when you have a shoulder to cry on. What a nice guy. Look, relationships are hard. They're gonna be rocky, and they're gonna have a lot of problems. But as long as the two of you can improve each other's lives and make each other happy, then wear your scarlet aids with pride, brother. So you have an STD, and I know what you're thinking. You know, I can't really help you. You're on your own, dude. You can't just wash away your sins, that's for sure. But don't worry about it. You and your mates were invited to an Eyes Wide Shut secret orgy, and there's gonna be plenty of STDs that's gonna be passed around. Meanwhile, you'd think after talking with your girlfriend, Ichigo will finally move on, but that's not how it works. People are complicated, and she still likes you.
I'm gay!
So you defeated autism, and I know what you're thinking. Look, dealing with cringy insults and STDs gets kind of tiring after a while. We all need a break, and your girlfriend is getting kind of bored of your small town. I mean, you can only pray to God for so long until she starts thinking for herself. And we definitely don't want that! So we're gonna do the one thing we do when we run out of date ideas. We're having a beach episode, baby! But before that, we got important matters to deal with. Your girlfriend is finally introducing you to her family. Now this is always awkward, after all, for they approve of your relationship. Maybe a little too much.
僕、君たちに興味あるな。
Anyways, now that that's out of the way, to the beach! Wait, you've never been to the beach before? Oh, right. You're a racist hick from a small town. Well, the beach is a wonderful place. On certain days. It's one of the few places where men and women can check out women and not be reprimanded by feminists. And you get to show off your hot bod that you've been working on all winter. It's also the place where you find out that Stacy actually has a nice body and might be a little promiscuous. But most important of all, you get to see your girlfriend in a bikini. Oh, she's wearing a modest one piece. That's so Christian of her! Meanwhile, Cuckboy is starting to develop feelings for Ichigo, and he might need a little help. Not everyone has someone else to tell them what to do. Sometimes you need to be that person, and this will only benefit you in the long run since Ichigo will be in a fulfilling relationship and she won't try to bother you for sex anymore. Speaking of sex, Ichigo still wants to rekindle her old relationship with you. She still thinks she has a chance, because she hasn't officially been rejected yet, and that's not your fault. She hasn't stepped up yet to be disappointed. Anyways, while the boys are playing with each other and discussing their sex lives,
anyway, how is your sex life?
Mitsuru is making his moves. He's bored of intellectual women and has his eyes on Stacy over there. She's currently dating a neckbeard, but he'll become a cuck soon. All in 8 easy steps. Well, what do you know? Looks like our guy Mitsuru watched episode 1 of my guide. Hopefully he reaches step 8. Meanwhile, Ichigo is finally going to do it. From the constant flauntings from your girlfriend, the deep desires for your body, and finally accepting the fact that even though you're tainted with non-Aryan blood, you're still the same old hero in her eyes. Ichigo will finally confess her feelings to you. Hopefully she follows my guide. After all, it's gender neutral. In the middle of the night, as she's following you in your footsteps, the beautiful stars linger above, accompanied with the sounds of the ocean. So you just enjoyed your beach episode and I know what you're thinking. Get your mind out of the gutter, you pervert! We don't have time for that, we have an incel to deal with! And it looks like this is the acid throwing type. It's the first thing you see when you research violence against women. Oh, looks like we have some wardrobe malfunctions and the girls don't seem to notice. You know, you can really learn about men based on how voyeuristic they are. But you're a good boyfriend, and you actually respect your girlfriend's privacy. Well, now you've done it. You know your actions have consequences. Now that the women know that they're desirable, they're not going to settle for a loser. It doesn't matter how nice Neckbeard is. In this case, all you need to do really is to play it cool. But not everybody can be a Chad, especially as you hit puberty and you start to develop these weird fetishes. You know, the adults could probably intervene and educate you on safe sex. But this is something we should probably just let nature take its course.
I'm triggered.
Oh, I guess the girls decided to adopt third wave feminism. Come on guys, it's a team effort. Chatsuru can't bang all the girls alone. That's why wingmans exist. And you can't be the wingman because you have to stay loyal. Just look at you. What a good boyfriend. Meanwhile, Cuckboy adopted the dankness from the internet and has become a grade A troll, using logic to bring people together. What a fucking misogynist. But it seems to be working as Stacy starts to think more inclusively. So she goes out with Chatsuru, and it looks like she's fully cheating on Neckbeard. You see, this is what happens when you spend your time and energy trolling feminists. Speaking of feminists, Ichigo's obsession for you starts to become unhealthy. When you can't have what you want, you start to confide in others suffering from the same affliction. You don't want that. If you want to better yourself, you have to be with people that are willing to better you and not bring you down. We need to save Ichigo before she becomes a blue-haired self-hating freak. Oh, well now that's some symbolism. Of course, it's much easier to have a mob mentality, and it looks like they're trying to recruit your girlfriend. But good thing your girlfriend was born in the dankness.
You never see it coming. You see that my mind is to pass. You're by the time it hits you, you're not surprised.
You know what's better than trolling feminists? Trolling feminists with your significant other. You know, you can keep going on traditional dates, but the point of a relationship is to enjoy the time that you have with your girlfriend, partaking in activities that you both enjoy, like suicide. This bitch, I swear to God. Meanwhile, after some self-reflection, it looks like we came to this conclusion, that men and women are different. They think differently, and that's the point. But we all deserve to be treated equally. But our biological purposes might lend to some issues with the opposite sex. So in the end, we need to do something innovative, and that's compromise. Men need to learn that sexual harassment is bad. But sometimes, a little flirting can be fine. I mean, our penises can't help it if we think women are attractive. Just don't go overboard. After all, they're people, not objects. And women need to learn that it's okay to be sexy. But if the boys cross the line, then girls should be confident enough to tell them to stop without repercussions. We can only fly if we work together. Because in the end, a bird needs 2 wings to soar the skies. So men and women finally learn how to compromise and you know what you're thinking. Looks like you're still in a healthy relationship with your girlfriend and you enjoy sharing your hobbies with her. But not everyone can be in a relationship. Some people are still looking for the one. Others would rather delve into their hobbies. Or maybe they found the one but circumstances are preventing them from acting on their feelings. The point is, not everyone can be happy, but you have to do your best to make your girlfriend feel special.
Oh my fucking god!
Thank you.
Cuckboy, you've balled up your feelings for too long, man. There's no need to think. Just do it.
俺さ、イチゴのこと好きみたいだ。そんなに慌てるなよ。俺が勝手に言いたくなっただけだ。
She won't know how to respond right away, and that's okay. Nobody ever knows the answer right away. Only time will tell. But for now, take this small victory with pride, Cuck. I mean, Goro. So Gobro finally grew a pair, and I know what you're thinking. Well, today's the day. It was a long time coming, balancing your work, studies, and your sex life. You finally managed to graduate high school, and all your hard work is going to pay off because your admission letter came back today, and you're going to college. It was always your dream as a young Aryan hailing from the rural lands to enter an Ivy League university in the big city, where you can study to get your dream career to support your poor Christian family. And it also seems like all your friends got accepted. Even the fat neckbeard. I guess he won a scholarship from competitive eating. Meanwhile, after a few weeks of dating, you start to notice that your girlfriend isn't as passionate as she used to be. She doesn't smile around you anymore. There's a possibility that she might be bored of you. That generally happens when your relationship gets too secure, like you're on a plateau. After all, you can't reach new heights on a plateau. Now we don't know if that's true or not. See, that's the problem with women. They want you to read their minds. You can speculate all you want, but remember, you're her boyfriend, not her babysitter. Maybe she can solve her problems on her own. If not, then just be ready when shit hits the fan. Meanwhile, you and your friends are visiting the big city for college orientation. The one day where you can visit your college and sometimes stay over the dorm rooms to party. Looks like Normie over here was out drinking all night and got locked out of his dorm room. We all get into our crazy adventures when we get a little drunk. So he wakes up in bed next to an old lady. Whatever you're into, I guess. Anyways, turns out that old lady is a professor at the university where she teaches Marxism and political science. As a good Christian boy in the pursuit of higher knowledge, he listens to her attentively, but then she starts to blame all of society's problems on him because of the color of his skin, and that gets to the little guy. And before he is able to have an open discussion to freely exchange ideas, the KKK thought police comes in to further indoctrinate the poor normie over here, and now he's a proud member of the working class for our beautiful Marxist society. What do you think the K in the KKK stands for? So you're a proud member of the proletariat, and I know what you're thinking. Well, your relationship has gotten more awkward. Now she refuses to talk to you. A healthy relationship stems from good communications from both partners. There's really nothing that can be done. Such problems are internal. But while that's happening, Chatsuru is suffering from opioid withdrawals. Looks like he got addicted when he was a child. And he got the drugs from you? No wonder he fucked your girlfriend. Chatsuru's withdrawal starts to affect his current relationship with Daikuno. So they finally break up. Liberated from her Chad boyfriend, Daikuno can finally explore her sexuality with her crush Ichigo. But that was the undercard. It's time for the main event.
We usually call him a neckbeard, but his name is actually Futoshi.
Throughout his childhood, Futoshi was afflicted with a disease known as compulsive overeating.
Now he's overweight, so we lovingly call him Fatoshi. But even though Fatoshi was considered undesirable by pretty much everybody here,
he met a kind and beautiful soul.
Her name was Stacy, and the two started dating. Stacy was really ignorant, so she saw Fatoshi's nice and creepy gestures as desirable.
And the two had a healthy relationship of poor eating habits. But there was a disturbance in the Beta Force. Along came a challenger, a masculine man, the alpha male, a god with a cock of thunder. That man was Chatsuru.
And unlike Fatoshi, who would usually put Stacy on a pedestal and worship her like a goddess,
Chatsuru did the impossible and treated Stacy like an equal while also making her feel inferior. And you'd think it wouldn't work, but it did. Stacy was clearly cheating on Fatoshi, and as a good Christian woman, she decided to break up with him,
thereby destroying his perfect world. Fatoshi can't accept the fact that he lost his girlfriend due to his own inadequacies. This feud has gone on long enough. These two are out for blood. It's gonna be a good fight. Maybe the fight of the century. Let's get ready to rumble! Yeah, he wish.
You win! Perfect.
Meanwhile, it's time to put this new relationship to the test. It's another incel, and this is going to be a bit controversial. After all, he is a beloved public figure. But this pedophile was last seen sexually assaulting a little boy, and he harasses underage teenage boys to get their dicks out over Twitter. Yeah, that's right, we're fighting the presidential candidate Harambe, and he needs to get shot. Wait a minute, why the fuck did you give the gun to the guy with the drug problem? He also just broke up with his girlfriend. You're just asking for a school shooting at this point.
Angela, I need healing.
Chatsuru has finally done the impossible. He opened up to a girl. Of course, it all makes sense now. You can break up with as many girls as you want, but nothing will ever hurt a Chad more than to lose his best bro. And that's something that can never be replaced. Stacy can never be Chatsuru's bro, but she can try to fuck his pain away. No, that's enough. Sex isn't going to fix Chatsuru's broken heart. But there's something about Stacy that soothes Chatsuru's soul, and I think the two finally found what they were looking for. Take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty pedophile. So Chad always wins, and I know what you're thinking. It's time we visit the cornerstone of white America, a liberal arts college. You know how we have our own traditional Aryan beliefs, where we only breed with other Aryans? Well, obviously, you and your girlfriend are an exception. But the point is, these liberals believe in a multicultural society, where they will breed and reverse engineer all these different ethnicities until they all become white. That way, they can be white and still get college scholarships, which is blasphemous to our communist belief of segregation and racial purity. And these ideas are being spearheaded by these liberal arts students led by your girlfriend's possibly gay cousin. For now, we will call them the Soy Boys. Meanwhile, Fatoshi is in denial that he broke up with his girlfriend. He still thinks he has a chance since Stacy smiled at him. But unfortunately for him, she still has eyes on Chatsuru. But Chatsuru isn't satisfied in a monogamous relationship. He wants more, but that's not going to stop Fatoshi from trying to get fit. And he's not patient enough to go natty, that's for sure. Is he going to make it, bruh? Meanwhile, it's time we learn the truth about your girlfriend. We've had many theories on why she's been acting cold and indifferent towards you. Maybe she was on her period. You know, the thing that makes no biological sense but you have to deal with it? Or maybe she cheated on you and felt guilty about it. But the truth is, she's a college dropout. Have you ever wondered why she looks so different compared to her gay cousin? Because she was supposed to be a soy boy. But she wanted to keep her individuality and her uniqueness. Unfortunately, society wanted her to conform.
しっかりして02。君がなんでそんなに人間にこだわってるのかわからないけど、02は02だよ。どこで生まれたんだとしても、角も牙も問題じゃない。
You're fucking a white male!
When your girlfriend gets outcasted and is treated differently for so long, she starts to believe that she was the problem. And she tried her best to accept who she was. But in the end, she's alone. She'll always be alone. Unless she becomes something that she's not. And this isn't something you can fix with encouraging words. This is years of trauma, maybe a decade. The truth is, there's nothing you can do. You've changed for her, you accepted her, and you love her. But it doesn't matter how you feel. If she doesn't love herself, then she'll never be happy. Remember when I told you to be ready when shit hit the fan? Well, you're the fan. And you just got hit with some heavy shit.
I can't stop eating. I eat because I'm unhappy. And I'm unhappy because I eat. It's a vicious cycle.
Yes! So your girlfriend is a minority, and I know what you're thinking. Look, it's no surprise that your girlfriend has had many boyfriends. She's young, attractive, and her self-confidence is charming. Not to mention, she's pretty exotic. But her relationships never get past the third date, probably because her boyfriends died when they got her AIDS. And that didn't really bother her. After dating over 100 guys, she's learned to accept that she'll never fall in love. But there was one boy, a long, long time ago. You could say he was her soulmate, and unfortunate circumstances separate the two. Now this is the story, all about how her life got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a few minutes. So sit right there, and I'll tell you how she met the prince from a town called Bel Air. In West Philadelphia, where she was born and raised, she spent most of her days not on a playground like all the other kids, but in chains. Meanwhile, the prince was a flirt. He was fit, he was smart, and he had a bromance. But one day, he started making trouble in his white neighborhood. He started asking questions on why the non-Aryan children were taken away. The KK communists didn't like his way of thinking, but they let him slide, since he was their perfect Aryan child. One day, your girlfriend got in a fight, and society got scared. So they sent her to a university where the soy boys performed whitewashing experiments on her. This was the early days of eugenics. We were very primitive back then, but this was also where the prince met your girlfriend, and he developed some sort of guilt. But most importantly, it was love at first sight. With his trusty stage light on hand, he breaks the racial barriers and does the impossible with her. They go on a date. This bitch, I swear to God. The date lasted 7 to 8 hours, but during that time, the two traveled, ate some good food, read a book, but most importantly, he licked her knee. That's pretty hot. And even though she smelled awful because she hasn't showered since she was born, the prince loved her, and so did she. But dates don't always last forever, and the prince had to go. And so to reassure your girlfriend that he will return, he gave her these 5 words as he smelled her. Yo, Holmes, smell you later. Reality soon came, and the KKK communists didn't want their perfect Aryan boy to love a red girl. So the prince was beaten, and his memory was wiped. His bromance destroyed, and his sex drive was gone. And I guess we will never know what happened to the prince. Huh, why does he look so familiar? Wait a minute. So you discovered a smile worth protecting, and I know what you're thinking. That's quite the crazy trip you had. Somehow you managed to relive your life as a kid. It felt so amazing for you. All that feeling of euphoria. It's almost like you were shooting up heroin or something. Oh. Wow, I guess your girlfriend has a drug problem. And she shot you up without your consent. Well, I guess that explains why she keeps getting arrested. Actually, this explains a lot of things about your girlfriend. The suicidal tendencies, the nail biting, her libido. At some point in your relationship, your girlfriend got addicted to drugs, and she was hiding it from you this whole time. Meanwhile, as you recover in the hospital, Chatsuru, your opioid-addicted former best bro, visits you. From your drug trip, you realize that you're the reason that Chatsuru is addicted to opioids. So you apologize. He accepts your apology. That's about it. We know how to be friends. If only life was that easy. But unfortunately, you're in a love triangle. You might not be aware of it, but Ichigo has been scheming to separate you and your girlfriend, using her resources to build the strongest weapon that a woman can have. A social network. Ever since you started dating your girlfriend, Ichigo has been doing what she can to break you two apart. Who do you think started those nasty rumors about your girlfriend? While your girlfriend was pushing people away, Ichigo was building friendships, biding her time for the right moment to destroy the foundations of your relationship. And now she found the perfect opportunity to finally justify your friends to keep you two apart. After all, any normal person will want the best for you, and from their point of view, your girlfriend is just a crackhead minority that's destroying your life. While that's happening, Ichigo takes the initiative and spends more time with you. And as nice as she is, she's not your girlfriend. I think it's time for you to get out of there. So you make it to your girlfriend's place, but she's not there. Where is she? Oh no. It turns out Goro convinced Ichigo to let your girlfriend see you. While in most cases that would be the right thing to do. But your girlfriend is mentally unstable, and I think she might be on drugs. Oh, scratch that. She is on drugs.
違うんだゼロツ騙してなんてヒロはそうだきっとお前に会いに
You arrived too late. Your girlfriend was pushed to the edge and all your friends are dead. I mean figuratively, you know, they're not actually dead. But anyways, it's time for you to make a choice.
02! 今の君は化け物だ。
I guess in the end, life is all about letting go. But the most painful thing about it is not taking the moment to say goodbye. Sure, she might have given you AIDS, a drug problem, and probably something much worse, but at the end of the day, you were in love with her. Maybe you still are. And even though Ichigo might try to win you over on the rebound, and no matter how many guys your girlfriend ends up dating, you hold out hope that maybe one day you'll be together again. One more thing, how did your girlfriend get addicted to drugs anyways? Ichigo might be conniving, but she wouldn't have access to drugs. It's not like anybody here has a drug problem. Wait a minute, but the boy here is bedridden, and he's clearly in a lot of pain. Our boy Chatsuru is now addicted to opioids, which is actually a serious epidemic. The prince was a flirt. He was fit, he was smart, and he had a bromance. Chatsuru is making his moves. He's bored of intellectual women and has his eyes on Stacy over there. But Chatsuru isn't satisfied in a monogamous relationship. He wants more. Now this asshole shows up and does the equivalent of slapping your girlfriend's ass at the bar. He's planning on taking her away and leaving his mark in her. Chatsuru is suffering from opioid withdrawals. Looks like he got addicted when he was a child. And he got the drugs from you? No wonder he fucked your girlfriend. After all, it can lead to a heroin addiction. But nothing will ever hurt a Chad more than to lose his best bro. And that's something that can never be replaced. Chatsuru, your opioid-addicted former best bro, visits you. Chad, he knows how to fuck your girlfriend. So you just broke up with your girlfriend and I know what you're thinking. Look man, I'm sorry about your loss. You know, sometimes one bad fight can ruin an entire relationship. It doesn't really matter how much fun you had in the past, it can all come tumbling down. But cheer up, at least you still have Ichigo, the perfect waifu, a nice girl that will love you unconditionally. No questions asked. And all you had to do was to say hi to her when she was 6, and then 10 years later she'd ride your dick. Obviously, if you're already past the age of 9, it's already too late for you. Meanwhile, we have a problem. There's a huge amalgamation of incels in the city, and they're there for a convention, and it's not the typical con that might have an equal male to female ratio. Nope, all males here, and these incels are dedicated to their role-playing, and they will never have any interest in actual women. Because they're furries! Welcome to the rainforest. The theme for this year's con is revenge! They want the heads of the people responsible for killing their supreme leader Harambe, and it looks like the KK communists don't want these furries to taint their Aryan society, as well as appropriate their culture. So we're sending our best to put a stop to them. From the soy boys, to your friends, even your girlfriend who's going through rehab for her drug abuse. Everyone except for you. You don't get to kill furries. So take this time to think. You need to decide whether to move on or to revive your relationship. Well, let's look at the positives. She's attractive, at least to you. I'm pretty sure your racist friends don't see the same. She planned out all the dates and took you out on an incredible adventure. The sex was great, and she was charming. Okay, now let's look at the negatives. She gave you AIDS, she's disrespectful, a college dropout, doesn't know personal boundaries, has anger issues, and thanks to Chatsuru, has a drug problem, which she gave to you without your consent. Although in that case, the drugs helped you rediscover your lost relationship that you had with her, even if that was not her intent. But despite all that, you still love her. Now go get her back, you son of a bitch. Ah, crap, it's Ichigo. She's definitely not going to let you go after working so hard to keep you and your girlfriend apart. There's nothing you can do. She's got the high ground. Wait a minute. Is that Go-Bro? And it looks like he's going to make the ultimate sacrifice. Oh no! He's going to do it, isn't he? He's going to cuck himself once again. Just for you. It's okay, sad boy. You can listen to some Drake later. You'll feel better. Anyways, it's time to do what should have been done since the second episode. You going to give her this dick, and it's going to be the best sex that Ichigo will ever have, so she can finally understand that your penis belongs to someone else. Meanwhile, after an hour of great sex, and 5 more to recharge, you finally confront your ex-girlfriend. The two of you have been through a lot. She's in denial about her feelings, and she doesn't want to open her heart to you, because she's afraid that she'll never be the perfect Aryan girl. But who cares? You don't want perfect, because if you wanted a perfect girlfriend, Ichigo was right there. So you finally do the one thing that you haven't done before.
Pew pew pew.
What kind of problems the two of you will have later in life. For now, at this moment, again, you love her for who she is. And she might have problems, but that's okay, because it's her flaws that makes her human. What?! What the f- So you got back together with your ex, and I know what you're thinking. Man, that was quite an adventure we had last week. Furries really go hard, and the people inside the fursuits are surprisingly really attractive. What, you don't remember? Oh, that's right. I forgot. You blacked out last week. Well, after you got back together with your girlfriend, the two of you just had sex. For the whole week. I'm not sure how you and your girlfriend managed to pull it off, considering the world record for longest intercourse is barely a day, but man, you guys are loud. Like, seriously.
Any room for one more?
Meanwhile, Chitsuru is feeling an emotion that he hasn't felt before. Regret. He really feels bad for getting your girlfriend addicted to drugs. But in the long run, it kinda worked out. The two of you are now closer than ever. But even so, Chitsuru can never admit his faults. So he's going to do the impossible. He's going to get a haircut. Now everyone knows that if you get a haircut, you're basically starting a new life. And from this point on, Chitsuru will no longer do drugs, he is only going to have one girlfriend, and I think I'm going to have to call him by his real name. Zac Efron? I think I'll just stick with Chitsuru. After all, you can't escape the Chad life. Alright, so let's get this out on a tray. Nice. Anyways, your girlfriend is in a good mood now after all that sex. She even took up art. And she's even spending time with your friends. Isn't it great to have friends? Who said we were friends? Why don't you do something besides eating for once? Maybe it might actually be likable. Don't you give me that look. I do this because I care about you. Everyone knows if you're over 140 pounds in an anime, you're considered obese. Don't be sad. Why are you all sad? Be happy. You guys have everything. You're young and oh, you're not young anymore. You're all getting older. That's why your parents abandoned you. I didn't even notice, but when you get older, you become impotent.
Franxxに乗ることだけが俺たちの居場所じゃないよ。
You're right. Life might seem long,
but the days can pass by quickly and add up. Maybe it's time for you to find something that you want to do with your life. After all, you can't have sex forever. So you're getting older and I know what you're thinking. Your friends have finally embraced your foreign girlfriend. After months of mistrust, ignorance, and sometimes violence, your friends give your girlfriend a gift. A traditional flower crown. Now I know your girlfriend isn't Greek and this might be considered cultural appropriation, but I think as a society, we should just let this slide, because she looks really cute. Meanwhile, your relationship has really blossomed into something wonderful. I mean, you're already living together, you both make each other smile, you even got a tattoo of her on your forehead. That's definitely some dedication, but I won't judge. Anyways, I think it might be time to take the next step and maybe put a ring on her. Now that's just a thought, there's no need to rush into it. But maybe you can think about starting a family. Although I don't think your girlfriend can get pregnant anymore. Meanwhile, the soy boys are back in town. They're here to make sure that everyone looks healthy and continues to have safe and boring sex. But even so, Stacy has been thinking about motherhood, and she wants to get it on with Chatsuru, but this time without a condom.
Kokoro-san.
Oh god, it's so good.
Now you might think Chatsuru is gay, but he's actually teaching us a valuable lesson. When a girl is on your lap, caressing you, unzipping you, and breathing on you, you might ask this question: is it okay for me to batter dip my corn dog? And the answer to that is, no, of course not. She didn't even ask for your consent. How would you know that you want to Anne Frank her attic if she doesn't ask? Besides, Chatsuru isn't sure if he wants to be a father.
Oh, now you fucked up!
But actions have consequences, and the soy boys find out about Stacy's attempt to start a family. After all, they don't want any happy accidents, because children are expensive, and we don't want any more poor people in our rich society. Besides, teenage pregnancy is a bad image for the Aryan race. They need to keep this image that they are the ultimate being, one that is slim, blonde, and most importantly, gay. Because being heteronormative is just a pain. We would be so much better as a communist society if we were just one gender. That way, we can do whatever we want and not be bogged by the responsibilities of having children. What? Alright, this college-educated liberal is starting to talk out of his ass, but how do you tell him to stop? You're all a bunch of white heterosexuals. All he has to do is call you a homophobe and he wins. Well, good thing we have a normal lesbian to speak some sense on our behalf. Meanwhile, Chatsuru has been thinking about starting a family with Stacy. Now having a child is life-changing. This is definitely something they have to be ready for. They need to be satisfied with their own lives before they can take the next step of adulthood, especially the mother. After all, Stacy has to put in the time and energy in order to properly raise her child, not to mention actually being pregnant. And Chatsuru needs to be there to support them when it gets hard. It's easy for a father to just run away from their responsibilities. But a real Chad doesn't abandon his family. Now I know a lot of people will scare Stacy into thinking that being a mother will be the worst stage of her life, and it might be true sometimes, but maybe there's a possibility that when she finally holds her own baby in her arms, that maybe being a parent might be the most rewarding thing to ever happen. Happy Mother's Day. Then again, maybe having a child as a teenager might not be the best idea. But our society does convince dumb people to blow themselves up when they reach their mid-20s, so... can I be the godfather? So, Chatsuru got a girl pregnant, and I know what you're thinking. We don't believe in abortion, so normally we would politely ask him to take her hand in marriage. But in a strange twist of fate, Chatsuru really loves Stacy. He even proposed to her before Daddy was able to get the shotgun out of his gun safe. And you know what? I just gotta say, I'm so proud of him! Ever since he quit the drugs, Chatsuru has been more responsible, faithful, and not to mention, respectful to all walks of life. Now he might have made some mistakes, and he might have ruined some lives, but nobody in the world is perfect. And you know what? I think he'll be a great father. This is the first step in Chatsuru's journey to become a datsuru. Meanwhile, looks like the sex industry is in another controversy again. Seems like a semen spill this time.
Corporations have been dumping their used condoms and sex toys into the rivers. They're destroying our wildlife and making your home an unsafe place to live. So now you're all being relocated to a camp. I think they call it Manzanar. It's kind of crowded, unsanitary, hot, and I don't think it's a very good place to live. But hey, it's got 4.5 stars on Google, so the food must be great. But because the government has to spend money to save the stupid environment, they can't afford to spend on the things that really matter. Like Chatsuru's royal wedding. Now instead of having a professional wedding planner, we have to sell for cosplayers and CSGO silver chumps to organize this wedding.
Throwing smoke.
Hey!
Flashbang. Bomb has been planted. Terrorists win.
Anyways, Chatsuru's ex Daikano is all alone in this world. After all, she's the only homosexual in her community. That's not an asshole. And well, she's in love with Ichigo, because Ichigo said hi to her when she was 6, and then 10 years later she wants to lick her clit. But you know, despite her advances, Ichigo isn't going to change her sexuality to please Daikano, because to Ichigo, her love for Daikano would not be genuine. After all, she sees her as a friend, or maybe she prefers a partner with 20/20 vision. Well anyways, it might suck to know that Daikano won't be scissoring her childhood crush, but in the long run, getting rejected might be healthy for her, because now she can reevaluate her life and escape her one-itis. And maybe if she continues to explore the world, she might find somebody to love. Damn you liberal scum! We can't even have a traditional marriage anymore without offending anybody.
No! God, please!
Ugh. Where are we? Manzanar? Is that Chatsuru and Stacy? Oh thank God, are you two okay? Wait a minute, you don't know each other. Wait, Chatsuru, why do you smell like rubbing alcohol? No! Alright, that's it. Nobody sinks my ship and gets away with it. So my ship is ruined and I know what you're thinking. Well, since you have nothing better to do, you might be wondering, how did we end up in such a society where the KK communists are at war with the incels? Well, let's take a seat and let me tell you about our rich history. Oh boy. So it all started because of your girlfriend's dad. Now you might be thinking, isn't this guy her dad? And I'm not surprised that you thought that, but that's just communist propaganda. They're actually her guardians. But we'll come back to them later. In the distant past of 2025, Donald Trump got elected again. But then he died, because he was old. And because of his death, America was in a power vacuum. And so many political groups seized the chance to gain power. One of these groups was called the Ku Klux Klan. They were a bunch of grand wizards, which is the politically correct term for a virgin, who hated anyone that wasn't considered Aryan. And you'd think such an unpopular thought would disappear, but they discovered oil. And because the sex industry had a lube shortage, the Ku Klux Klan sold their oil at a high price. And with all that newfound wealth, the Ku Klux Klan decided to fund schools, hire professors, scientists, journalists, etc. Basically, they were able to pay people to spread their racist influence. But because the people they hired were mostly college students, who had to take a mandatory liberal arts class, the Ku Klux Klan ended up being more progressive, so they rebranded as the KK Communists.
I can't see fucking shit out of this thing.
We ready or what?
Oh, hold on, I'm fucking with my hole. Oh.
But the leaders were afraid of the younger generation developing different values, so they forced their children to constantly have sex, so their dopamines would prevent them from thinking about politics. And the chads who were immune to the pleasures of sex were given opioids. But having sex with your sister causes problems. And so, they started to accept people that don't look traditionally Aryan. If you think about it this way, everyone's skeleton is white, so we're all white on the inside. Except for one group of people, the incels, for they had blue balls. and because of the lack of sex, they start to attack the KK communists and spread their newly created STDs to ruin your sex life. And so, your girlfriend is actually half incel. You see, your girlfriend's dad was a scientist in charge of developing sex toys for kids. And well, he's a lolicon, but he had to keep an appearance, so he had a normal girlfriend. But one day, she hit the wall, and then he broke up with her. With newfound freedom, he traveled deep into the cave and discovered that there lived a 60-year-old woman amongst the incels. Despite her age, she looked like she was 12, which is probably why nobody wanted to sleep with her, because they didn't want to go to jail. But your girlfriend's dad, dare I say, likes his legal lollies.
Hello. Hello. How are you? No. 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 Don't do it. I'm a virgin.
9 months later, your girlfriend was born, but she clearly didn't look Aryan. So in order to keep her alive, he had to classify her as a soy boy science experiment. He was horrified and deeply regrets doing that to his daughter. He wanted to start over again, so he met another girl and got her pregnant. But the KK communists used up all their oil, so in order to keep costs down, they intentionally created suicide missions to reduce population, and your girlfriend's dad's stepmom was a part of these missions. And well, instead of having her own family, she has to take care of orphans. And now we're here. I hope this provided context on what you should be fighting for now.
That just raises further questions!
So you just had a history lesson, and I know what you're thinking. The incel population has been reduced to one last group of people. The nerds! The original incels of popular culture, and it looks like they put all their points in the technology tree. Not only did they develop guns, they also developed sex dolls, thereby creating more incels. At this rate, the incels will outnumber us and force their cringe into our sex lives. And once you become cringe, you'll never get in bed with another man or woman again. Looks like they're starting a mass exodus on our land, led by their queen, who happens to be your girlfriend's mom, who is quite the MILF. You know, a mom-eyed lolly forever. Anyways, the point is, the incels are going to seize our means of reproduction and install a lolly monarchy. We have no choice. It's time for our D-Day. We're going to dick those incels so hard that they lose their virgin powers. Now I know a lot of you are probably going to get AIDS, but it's worth it if we want to put an end to this incel menace. And we especially need to capture the lolly queen alive. You know, for legal reasons. Meanwhile, it seems like Stacy's suffering from morning sickness. Looks like Chitsuru's sperm successfully planted the bomb on Stacy's egg, but we can't afford maternity leave, so hopefully by sending her out on the suicide mission, she loses her baby. I mean, it worked before.
Open your eyes.
Kokoro-san.
Open your eyes.
So while your friends are fighting for their sex lives, you and your girlfriend are participating in a special mission. Seems like your girlfriend's dad invented the ultimate sex toy to win back the lolly queen. Because you know, his penis doesn't work anymore. And obviously the two of you agree, because you both just can't stop having sex. But in order to activate the sex toy, you need to prove your degeneracy. So you try to do anal, but you didn't bring enough lube, and your girlfriend isn't comfortable with it. Wait a minute, what's that noise? Uh-oh, it's your girlfriend's mom, and it looks like she's a dominatrix. Not only does she abuse her daughter, she wants to have sex with you, and she's willing to do anal. To you! Oh no! She's going to take control of the ultimate sex toy. It's over. The incels won. Your butthole hurts, and now you can't go back to vanilla after experiencing NTR. Wait, did you just give her your AIDS? What delicious irony. The incels who invented AIDS gets destroyed by them.
All women are queens. If she breathes, she's a god!
It's over. The incels are all gone, and the lolly queen is ours. And to think, if your girlfriend didn't have AIDS, you'd still be a lolly slave. Wait a minute, I know your girlfriend slept with a lot of guys in our society, but I'm pretty sure none of them could have given her AIDS. Unless there was an incel among us? But who? Wait, nerds might have been the original incels of popular culture, but there were incels that existed before them. Back in the old days, instead of getting laid, a group of men would rather be racist. And with their combined virginity, they all became wizards and formed the KKK. Oh, well, I should have seen that one coming. After all, I don't think I've ever seen a woman at a KKK rally. But if the KK communists are also incels, why would they betray their queen? Unless there was a civil war amongst the incels. I guess the KK communists would rather blow up the planet than have a woman lead them. We're all just pawns in the incel game, and only your girlfriend can save us now.
Would you like to know more?
So you might be wondering, where did all these aliens come from? And I explained it in the very first episode. It's like the perfect anime for the Aryan race to
masturbate to anime.
But I'm not gonna be talking about that, because that's racist. The fuck is wrong with you? Oh, I see where you got confused. I have bad English. When I said Aryan, I meant aliens. God damn it, it's fucking stupid. So you just gave your girlfriend's mom AIDS, and I know what you're thinking. So it's come down to this, huh? The KK communists rigged the ultimate sex toy to blow up the earth. Man, I can't believe they went to such extreme measures just to prevent a woman from being in charge of their virgin brethren. How insecure can these incels be? I mean, isn't the Lolly Queen the only person qualified to lead them? After all, she has 60 million years of experience in creating weapons of mass destruction and deporting illegal aliens. I guess it's the fact that she's actively having sex, which probably led to a divide between the racist incels who would rather have a pure incel lead them, and the incels that think giving the Lolly Queen power would actually get them laid, and are busy colonizing Alpha Centauri. But it seems like the incel mole within the KK communists ended up destroying the KKK. You know what that means.
Oh my god!
We are finally a communist society, and it sucks. All you and your friends do now is farm. We didn't start a workers' revolution so that we can go back to work. I want money. And there's no money because all the rich people left the country. I guess we're in another power vacuum. So now your friends are in charge of the entire country. What are their qualifications? They all have different hair colors, and one of them is fat. That's good enough for me. Anyways, the White Knights ran out of maidens to protect and reverted back to soy boys. And they refused to eat our communist rations because it's not plant-based. Well, excuse me, it's not our fault that it takes months to grow vegetables. Besides, how are we supposed to grow vegetables if these space incels keep bombing us? Just leave us alone, you guys already won. No one is having sex anymore, we just want to put food on our table. At this rate, all the normies are going to die. Speaking of normies, Stacy is still pregnant. Now we have to give her maternity leave. We can't even afford food. Whose bright idea was it to spend our entire budget to send the ultimate sex toy into space?
Good job!
Goddamn lolicons. Meanwhile, you can't control your thirst anymore. Ever since you spent that entire week having sex with your girlfriend, you have developed an addiction to sex. And now you're having withdrawal symptoms. If you don't get your penis wet, you're going to lose your sex drive. And probably die. You try to find Ichigo, but she's sick. And you won't be able to get past her orbiters. Stacy is pregnant, and the only other girl is in a happy relationship. So now you're going to do something horrible. You're going to betray your girlfriend's trust, and stick your wiener in her, without her consent. No, don't be a Shinji. This might as well be necrophilia. Looks like just the tip was enough to satisfy your thirst. Wait a minute, is that your girlfriend? Is she in the ultimate sex toy? In space? And are those incels about to unload? On her face? Oh no! They just gave her herpes, which means now you have herpes. Well, at least you know that your girlfriend is alive. Turns out she only implanted a small portion of her memories in you. The rest is in the ultimate sex toy. And now everyone is here to help you reunite with your girlfriend. Because killing things is way more fun than farming. But, before we leave... Why would you fuck your girlfriend's corpse? What the hell is wrong with you? It's okay if she does it. After all, that's hot. So your girlfriend's mind is trapped in the ultimate sex toy, beating off millions of incels in space, and I know what you're thinking. I think we better fix our mistakes and retrieve the ultimate sex toy before the people catch on about our failing economy and overthrow us. I mean, we better save your girlfriend. That's why we're sending all our able young body soldiers to go die for our communist country. Everyone except for Chatsuru. He gets paternity leave. What, you think this is a sexist society? Dads are important too. Hey Chatsuru, I pulled some strings so you don't have to die like these other idiots. Hopefully you and Stacy can get back together, but it seems like the two of you have been fighting. Meanwhile, we're in space, baby! Now you might be wondering, how did we even afford all this space technology? And you can actually thank Fatoshi for that one. Ever since he broke up with Stacy, Fatoshi has been going his own way, and channeled all his energy into becoming a competitive eater. And all his hard work paid off, as he is now the undisputed, overweight champion of the world. And with that title comes corporate sponsorships, like Pepsi. They also paint the sex toys black because everyone knows it makes it bigger. Except they didn't paint yours. Because you don't like Pepsi, you're a Coke stan. Wait, what? I know you were desperate for a hole, but how did you two get together? Wait a minute. See, I told you it was gender neutral. Well, I guess that makes you a bisexual now.
Yosh!
Oh no! It's a Stormfag incel! He must have found out that an Aryan boy turned out to not be completely straight. What are you doing, you soy boy? Are you planning on sacrificing yourself? I know you're gay, but you don't have to die. I kinda liked making fun of you. Wait a minute, it's still Pride Month. You might actually have plot armor. Oh wait, no, it's July. I guess it's fair game now. Maybe you should probably reconsider. Meanwhile, back on Earth, your girlfriend's body is dying from necrosis, and Stacy found out that it's because of the heroin that Chatsuru gave to her a while back. Now she's even more mad at him. And you know what? She has the right to be angry. Chatsuru has never opened up to Stacy about his drug addiction. He's opened up to her, but not enough to build trust. Chatsuru, like a real Chad, didn't want to get Stacy involved, and he thought he could fight his demons alone. But drug abuse isn't something that he can fight alone, and Chatsuru was making progress to become clean when he was hanging out with you. But you're fighting a space war in Mars, so he can't rely on you. So now it's time for Chatsuru to do the impossible. He's going to admit his faults and confess his sins. But most importantly, he's going to apologize for hurting people, especially to the girl that he cares about. Now it's up to Stacy whether she wants to forgive and accept Chatsuru. And it looks like she does. You don't need drugs to feel alive, Chatsuru. From now on, the only drug you need is your family. Wait, are you two really having sex right now? You know your friend's girlfriend is right there. Uh-oh. Well, that's not good. Anyways, now that you're inside your girlfriend, you've discovered that your girlfriend really got into tentacles. I guess that makes sense since she doesn't have a working body anymore. So the only way she can feel pleasure is if she penetrates a hole. Well, good thing her mom gave you some experience. Oh, so this is what anal feels like. Meanwhile, it's time that we finally learn the Incel's master plan. They want to unite everyone's consciousness into one Incel body, because Incels do not know what it's like to have sex with a partner. The only form of pleasure they know is through masturbation, and they plan on using the ultimate sex toy as the dildo for their Incel body. But you know, Incels don't usually agree on things. That's why there are so many types. But we ended up killing them until only the racist Incels remained. Oh, I guess that explains why they can pull off this plan now. And it seems like the only thing stopping them is that your girlfriend's mind is in the ultimate sex toy. And in order to activate the ultimate sex toy, they have to prove their degeneracy. But this time, they need to give your girlfriend a genuine orgasm. And well, she only has eyes on one man now. Oh god, I guess we can add macrophilia to the list of fetishes that your girlfriend's into now. But it looks like it worked! The incels are retreating to Alpha Centauri, and they were stupid enough to leave the Stargate open. So it's time to raid their forums and bomb the shit out of them. So you're inside your girlfriend, and I know what you're thinking. Did I say girlfriend? I meant fiance. Look at you jumping the gun. I didn't even have to tell you to propose. You all grow up so fast. It's too bad we can't have a traditional marriage though. You two are a few light years away from your friends and family. Besides, we wouldn't want to offend all those space incels. But you don't need to have a wedding to have a honeymoon. And what's a better honeymoon than incel genocide? Meanwhile, it's been a long journey for your friends. Even though you got lucky getting into a relationship early on, not everybody can say the same. Wait a minute, is that your ex-girlfriend? Did you actually break up with her because she's an amputee? Haven't you played Katawa Shoujo? Disabled girls need love too. I guess you are still a true-blooded Aryan. But you know, sometimes you just can't be with the one. And if they don't learn how to let go, they'll just live in regret as they age. Sure, Daikano might be able to get Ichigo drunk once, and maybe satisfy her childhood fantasy, but that's just it. A fantasy. If she actually did that, she wouldn't be able to call Ichigo a friend. So instead of wasting time on unrequited love, Daikano has dedicated her last remaining life on research in order to better mankind. Something that will give her fulfillment and maybe a partner. In some cases, you have to end a relationship to find success. Sure, it sucks that your ex fell in love with another man, but that breakup was a wake-up call for Fatoshi. After all, now he's a living legend in competitive eating. And with recognition and achievement builds confidence. And confidence leads to relationships. And to think I used to call him a neckbeard. There are also times where you just have to be persistent. What, you think just because Gobro confessed he automatically gets a girlfriend? That's not how it works. But as long as Ichigo hasn't officially rejected him, then he just has to keep building his relationship with her. And Ichigo might develop some lingering feelings for him, but if Gobro gives up, then that's it. However, Gobro also can't spend his entire time trying to win Ichigo's heart. He also needs to find a purpose for himself, and there's a whole world out there for him to explore. And once he finds a balance, and a deeper, sexier voice, and Ichigo lets go of her past to accept Gobro's feelings, maybe then the two will finally get into a relationship. But once a cuckboy, always a cuckboy. Finally, some people get into relationships early to the point where they might have a family. And most people might look at this and say that they're making a mistake. They're giving up their dreams just to raise a child. But what's wrong with that? Chatsuru was a guy that spent his entire life addicted to drugs. He had many personal demons and had no purpose in life. But ever since he met Stacy and started a family, he finally found his purpose. And yeah, Chatsuru might not be as famous as Fatoshi, or exploring the world like Gobro, or a lesbian scientist like his ex, but Chatsuru doesn't need to make an impact on the world. The only thing he needs to do is to make his family his world. Your friends really did have a crazy journey, huh? Wait a minute, why are we in the future? Spoiler alert, you're not supposed to see this. Back to the present. You and your girlfriend have made it to Alpha Centauri, the new colony for incels. And while you two were on your honeymoon, the incels have created their own ultimate sex toys. And they're overpowering your girlfriend. You better do something. Hey, why are you sleeping? Oh no, have you finally exhausted your sex drive? You mean to tell me that you spent 4 light years still having sex with your girlfriend? I know you have a sex addiction and the ultimate sex toy isn't helping, but you can take a break. For God's sakes, man, they're going to penetrate your girlfriend. Wake up. So, this is how it ends, huh? You're just going to die? Did my advice mean nothing to you? Look, I know it's probably not the best way to get a girlfriend, and we probably could have avoided all those life-threatening situations. But don't lie, you loved every last moment, and I enjoyed being there with you, on your journey. Alright, look, I'll be honest, I'm only delaying the inevitable. I've seen the future, and it's not good for you, and I didn't want that. Because it's not like I like you or anything, I just didn't want it to end. But I have no right to keep you away from your girlfriend. So here, I'm going to leave you a gift. Now go f*** your girlfriend for one last time. You and your girlfriend fucked those incels so hard you put a hole in the entire universe. And the incels have finally been defeated, but the ultimate sex toy was destroyed in the process, which means that your bodies are gone as well. But your souls will live on, together, like some sort of Chinese bird. You and... Wait a minute, we don't even know your girlfriend's name. All this time and we never bothered to ask her. Well, I'll throw you a bone. Her name was... This bitch, I swear to God. And some people just have a drama-free and perfect relationship. I mean, it's pretty easy when you're dating your sister.